The lovely Mystic Man has been doing a lot of work on her channel this month, focused on manifestation and rituals and acts that we can do to bring things into our life, to attract things into our life. And I love this kind of work. I'm a huge believer and supporter of manifestation, of ritual work, of affirmation work. And so I really wanted to do a response to her video. Now, the first prompt is the deck that you are most grateful for. And for me, it's going to be Tarot Landscapes. Now, this is a new deck to my collection, and it has this fun little pull out. And then the deck itself is stored within a tough box. Now, I don't know that that's the way this deck is going to live from here on out. But for right now, that's where it's going to be. Now, this deck is still, here are the card backs. Very beautiful. This deck is still in order because I'm just beginning work with it. But, I'll show you a few cards. The reason that I am grateful for this deck in particular is that this is a deck that was gifted to me by a subscriber. And when I receive a gift, it lets me know that the work that I'm putting out is helping other people. I take it as a sign of love, of support. And I'm really grateful for that because that's what gives me the motivation to continue doing the work, continue putting out content. And, if you do any work trying to keep up a channel, then you know just how much work it is to film content and edit and upload and do all the behind the scenes stuff. And so when someone takes the time to send a lovely gift like this, it's something that I really take to heart because it encourages me to continue doing the work that I'm doing. So for prompt number one, the deck that I'm most grateful for, it's going to be Tarot Landscapes. Prompt number two, what is a deck that you feel that will help you towards your goals? So for me, it is the Sasarai Beetle, or what I like to lovingly refer to as the Sassy Burrito. Now, this is a deck that never gets put away. It lives on my desk, and it's a deck that I use quite often, particularly with career work related questions for myself. I don't know that I don't often use this deck for other people. Not that I wouldn't, I just don't. I use this for myself, and I feel like this deck is very, very helpful in helping me figure out what my next steps should be and what goals I should be working towards. So, for a deck that makes me feel like I get closer to my goals, that's going to be the Sassy Burrito. For prompt number three, a deck that helps strengthen your spiritual connections. For me, it is my Tarot of Mystical Moments. Now, I I adore this deck. This is something I consider to be a soul deck. This deck speaks to me in a way that none of my other decks speak to me. And so when I'm looking to strengthen my spiritual connection, this is a deck that I'm going to gravitate towards because I often am able to see things in these cards that I wouldn't normally see in other decks, right? I feel very free. I do not feel like I am tied to a specific interpretation. You know, it's funny. I'm showing you these cards and I'm finding reversals, and this is probably the only deck that is always telling me shuffle reversals in, and I just took them out. But it doesn't matter; they'll come right back. That's how this deck is. So for prompt number three, the deck that helps strengthen your spiritual connection, it's going to be Tarot of Mystical Moments. Prompt number four, your favorite affirmation deck. Well, this is easy because I only have one, and it is my Bob Ross playing card deck. I love this deck, and I'm going to bring it in a little bit close because it features his artwork. And then each card has a quote, something that he would have said in one of his many, many shows. And this is a person that I grew up watching. He was probably, you know, if I could say, one of my first spiritual teachers. I listened to everything that he said. And I often say that in a time where I was in darkness, this was a source of light for me. And I really enjoyed his work. I enjoyed all the positivity that came out of watching him, and it was something I really, really needed. Find freedom on this canvas. So, this deck for me is what I would consider to be my affirmation deck. One, because it's the only one that I have, but two, because it connects me so much to my inner child in a way that no other deck does. So for my favorite affirmation deck, it's going to be my Bob Ross playing card deck. I'll show you this. Even the Jokers have a piece of art and a quote. Didn't you know you had this much power? You can move mountains, you can do anything. I mean, hello. Prompt number five, a deck that helps you focus on your goals. So for me, it's going to be the Tarot of Strange Branches. I absolutely love this deck. Here are the card backs. This deck, I mean, obviously it's in French. The guidebook is in French, but I love the guidebook. And I often use the translate feature on my phone to scan the guidebook and read the messages, and they're so perfect and beautiful for me. This is a deck that one ties me very much to my femininity, which is something that I tend to neglect oftentimes. But two, I find this to be a very grounding deck. So for a person like me who is fire energy, right? I have Aries, Sun, and Moon, but then my ascending is in Gemini. So it's very easy for me to get lost in the passion of different things that I'm trying to work on and then get lost in my thoughts. So a deck like this is very grounding, and it helps me kind of pull me back in to the things that I'm trying to accomplish and work towards, and keeps me on track. So, for a deck that helps keep me focused on my goals, it's going to be the Tarot of Strange Branches. Prompt number six, a deck that helps keep you uplifted. Well, for me, it's going to be my Pastel Kitty Tarot. This is an inner child deck for me. I love this artwork. It's very fun and bright and colorful. And while it is a positive deck, I don't think that this deck shies away from delivering the message that it needs to deliver. It merely brings you the message, no matter how tough or hard it can be, in a way that's digestible, compassionate, and empathetic. And sometimes you just need that in your life. So I always use this deck around the December time frame, which is when I like to do my inner child work. But this is a deck that I would say, if I was feeling down, if I was in a bad mood, if I needed a little bit of a pick me up, this is a deck that I can easily fall back on for uplifting energy. And I'll stop here and the lovely Queen of Pentacles. Prompt number 7 is going to be a deck that you manifested in your life. For me, it's going to be the Vision Quest. Now, this is a deck that I have, those are the gorgeous backs. A deck that I have seen many times and just really didn't care for. And things changed, and all of a sudden, I felt a pull towards this deck, towards what it stands for. And I really wanted to start working on it, and I didn't have it. And as the universe often does, a friend of mine had this deck in her collection and it didn't resonate with her at all. And she said, "You know what? I'm going to send this deck to you." I was so grateful because I ended up getting the deck that I was feeling motivated to or called to work with, but also because I got it from a friend who is very loving and kind. And I knew that the deck would be infused with her wonderful energy. And I just couldn't have been happier to have this deck in my hands. And anytime, if you're a deck collector, you know that sometimes you have decks that don't resonate with you and they can be hard to part with at times. So you want to make sure that you find a good, loving home, like somewhere where they're actually going to be used. And that's what ended up happening with this deck. And so this is a deck that I would definitely say was a deck that I manifested into my life. The final prompt is share something that you have manifested into your life. So for that, I'm going to use my sassy burrito because this was a deck that I used to manifest change. I would say 2 or 3 years ago, I was doing some work that I really, really loved, but the group of people that I was working with, well, that part of it wasn't going so well, wasn't really resonating. And unexpectedly, I was made aware of an opportunity on a different team. And you know how they always say the grass is not always greener on the other side. And so this wasn't a decision that I wanted to take lightly. It's funny that we get to the emperor, this part of the conversation, but not a decision to take lightly. And so I wanted to make sure to do my due diligence. So I took a moment, I came to my reading table and I grabbed this deck and I began to shuffle and think about the opportunity and think about what it meant and see if I could visualize myself in the new place with the new team, learning the new work. And as I was shuffling, a card flew out of the deck, and that card was the Fool. And immediately my gut said, I know you're scared, but you have to take a chance. It's not too late. I know you've been with this team for many, many years, and things have gone well for you during that time, but it's time to spread your wings. That is what this card said to me. And so I pursued the opportunity. And what I ended up doing was I am a huge fan of affirmations. And I started to listen to an affirmation video on this subject of manifesting work. And I did this every day for 30 days. And there were certain affirmations that were very easy for me and just rolled off the tongue. There were other affirmations that made me feel a certain kind of way or made me feel weird to say. And those are the affirmations that I paid particular attention to because there was work to be done there. That's what that told me. That ick that I felt at certain affirmations let me know that I had some inner work to do. And I focused on this every day for a month. And wouldn't you know, that the opportunity became a reality and I ended up moving into the new position. I will say it was a matter of 6 weeks in total, is how long it took from the time that the opportunity made itself aware to me and the time that I physically started in the new role. So, yes, I am a huge believer in manifestation, in ritual work, in affirmation work. And I do believe that it can bring about change if you do it consistently and with intention. I mean, how's that? How is that for intention and for pushing forward and for using your will to guide you, right? So that is what I would say would be an example of something that I, not the only thing, but the biggest one that comes to mind, the biggest example that I have that comes to mind for manifesting. So I'm gonna stop right there. Thank you so much, man, for this lovely hashtag. As soon as I saw it, I think I shared with you that I was wanting to do the video response. And I'm glad I had the opportunity to do that today. Thank you so much for creating magic, for all the wonderful work that you're doing on the channel, and for motivating and inspiring others to do the same. That is what I have for you all today. Thank you so, so much for watching.